These have been tumultuous times across the country, but here in Richmond, the historic capital of the Confederacy, things have been especially charged.
The morning of Wednesday, July 8th, the monument to Confederate soldiers and sailors that sat atop Libby Hill was removed from its pillar, where it stood for over 125 years. This statue was simply the latest in the overwhelming movement that has taken down statues across the city, most notably 4 of the 5 Confederate officers who once sat on Monument Avenue. Many Richmonders had grown accustomed to the monuments, but with statues now coming down in many citizens' backyards, they're glad to see the tide turning.
I was glad this time. I didn't realize how painful it is to so many people until a few years ago.
However, there are still concerns about the violence and looting that has been happening, especially around Monument.
It's a little frightening because I think there are violent types hijacking and joining in and causing more turmoil than there should be.
Protests have been happening in the heart of downtown for over a month. Much like the rest of the country, the upswell of support for the removal of the monument was sparked by George Floyd's death in Minneapolis at the end of May, and the nationwide Black Lives Matter protest that followed. Since the protest started, the monument to Jefferson Davis was torn down by protesters, and the monuments to Stonewall Jackson, Jeb Stuart, and Matthew Maury were taken down by the city. Of the Confederate officers, only Robert E. Lee still sits on Monument Avenue, although a plan for his removal is also in place. But organizers of the movement know this is just a small part of a much larger issue.
Seeing all these come down around us is really awesome. I think when this one finally comes down, it's going to be, an even bigger victory, but at the same time, it's still just a small battle and part of a much larger war that we're facing.
Once the monuments have been removed, organizers want to use their resources to battle inequality through education, the election of officials that support their goals, and supporting the community.
We need to vote people in who are going to reflect our opinions as the people and our rights. We want to support the community however we can, so we're going to start doing financial literacy classes, resume building classes, computer coding camps for the Black youth because they're not really in the IT field, and they should be because the field is so lucrative.
Regardless of your opinion on the monuments and their removal, one thing is certain: things are changing.
From Richmond, Virginia, this is Emily Callahan.